Hey everybody, this is Fully Off and welcome back to another Minecraft video on the Thrillcraft server. Right, we've got a big job on today. I want to start a mob farm today, but there are a couple of niggly little jobs I need to sort out before we crack on with that. Firstly, I need to congratulate the Roadkill, who was the first one to point out my schoolboy error when it came to the plumbing in of the hoppers for the gold farm. Here's my gold farm. Still working. Now my problem, which the Roadkill pointed out, was that these hoppers run straight across. And as I'm sure you can see now, that will lock that hopper. So anything in this hopper and anything in this hopper won't flow through until this hopper is unlocked. And as you can see, it only gets unlocked when we get gold nuggets in it, and we don't get gold nuggets in there all the time. So consequently, it's backing everything up. So what I need to do is just pop these out. And I need, as he quite rightly pointed, as the Roadkill quite rightly pointed out, I need to move them over one. And then put these back in again. And that way, when that hopper unlocks, it comes out to this hopper, not to the one next to it, so they will flow through. So that's that job sorted out. Thank you, the Roadkill. I'll have to block that up in a minute. I don't appear to have any. Yeah, there you go. And the rotting flesh is now flowing into the system. Fabulous. Right, the next job, which is a bit of a bigger job, is going to be moving my village. Moving my breeder. Because as I mentioned a couple of episodes ago, when you trade with these guys for the first time, it automatically puts them in sort of love mode, if you can call it that. They're ready to breed once they've received their first trade, and then subsequently there's a chance when you trade with them after that they will also become willing to breed. And because they're inside the radius of my fake village, there's my fake village. So because the breeder, the trading hall downstairs is inside that fake village when it's turned on, they're affected by the same mechanics as those two guys. So if there are two villagers down in the trading hall next to each other that are willing to breed, they'll breed. And they have babies. And we've had a problem with babies being born in the trading hall. And they were a pain to get rid of. I put in a couple of holes in the walls down there, and some of them ran out to meet Johnny, but a lot of them don't, and they finish up growing up down at the bottom there, and they break the system. So I've had to go down and manually get rid of them myself. So before I turn the breeder on again, I need to move it, or I need to move the village part of it. I don't need to move the breeding pair. The breeding pair can be anywhere within the 32 radius of the village for it to work, as long as they're not on the same Y level or a few blocks below the Y level of the doors. So the doors can be anywhere within 32 blocks as long as there's a villager next to them to validate them, and these guys will still breed. Complicated, I know, but what it means is I need to move that guy there, the butcher, and all of those doors somewhere else. And I've done this. Took a lot of calculating, I can tell you. I still don't know whether it's 100% accurate, but it's my best guess, and I think it's going to work. I need to move that villager and those doors all the way up here, all the way up here, and all the way. I need to put the villager on that block. I need to move the doors above those stone blocks there, those cobblestone blocks, and that will mean that the villagers, the breeding pair of villagers, will be inside the radius of the village, the 32 block spherical radius of the village, but the trading hall will be outside. So the guys in the trading hall won't feel the need to breed. whereas the breeding pair will still be inside the village, so they'll still feel the need to breed. Go on, say it. I know you want to say it. So anyway, I'm going to run down and just grab a few bits and pieces and wait for it to get light, because I need to bring the villager out onto the roof, and obviously I don't want to do that when there are zombies and bad guys running about. So yeah, I'm gonna pop out those doors. I'm probably gonna just put some water in there to get him up on the roof, and then I'm gonna grab a boat. Stick him in a boat on the roof, row him over to the other side, put up a bit of some steps. Hopefully then, when I've got the new doors in, he'll run up the steps. Well, he certainly won't run back here. So he might run up the steps into his new pod. So let me grab some stuff and I'll meet you up on the roof. So now I've got to go and find, I've got to do it from the bottom, because otherwise I'm just going to be digging holes in the roof. But now if I go and dig a hole through the roof where the villager is and get him onto the roof, he might, with a bit of luck, run up here with a bit of gentle persuasion, because we've got doors up here, because we've got a village up here. Right, so if we dig through the roof here, let me put something here to stop him running backwards. And something here to stop him from falling over that way. If I dig out here, onto the roof, come on mate, come on, do me a favour. You gonna do me a favour? Probably not, are you? Okay, we'll do it the hard way. But you do know that if you don't do this before it gets dark, you are going to die. Yay, you're out on the roof. Come on then. No, not that way. That way, that way, that way, that way. Go on. It's getting dark. Look, it's getting dark. Sun's going down. Up the ladder. Up the steps, up the steps, up the steps, up the steps. Go on. There's a village up there and everything. Nearly there, mate. We're nearly there. Well, you're nearly at home. You're at home. You done it, man. You the man. Get rid of those so we don't get zombies up here. Sort that out later. That is fantastic. Well done, fella. Very proud of you. So now when I turn... That's right, isn't it? When I turn you on, you're going to be within the range of those doors. That's perfect. Let me tidy this up a little bit then, and then we'll go down. I've just done a little bit of calculating, and it turns out that I need to raise the breeding pair of villagers up by a couple of blocks. They're just outside. They're at 34, I think, or 33 or 34 blocks away from that guy, or from that village. So it's just a little bit outside. Okay, so I've moved the breeding pair downstairs up a couple of levels. That was no mean feat, I can tell you. So if I turn it on now, that village is now valid, because there are an unequal number of blocks covering sky access on 5 blocks this side of the doors than there is on the other side. I think there's only 2 on the outside. There are 5 on this side. Therefore, those doors are valid. If we go down now and have a look at the breeding pair, they should, by the time I get down there, it's just my luck that they'll have already had a baby and I'll have missed it. Oh, they're in the mood. They're in the mood for love. So while we wait for them to get jiggy with it, we'll just go down and trade with the cleric that I've got down there. Because if my calculations are correct, the radius of the village finishes up there. Just up there. So it's just outside of these guys' range. So if I trade with you, you will not get in the mood. Actually, you can see them now. You can see the villagers trying to push themselves towards the village, which is over there. And you can see them shaking. Which just indicates that they're trying to get to the village. You're trying to get over there. I think we've managed it. I think we've done it. Okay, that's brilliant. So what we need to do now is put another Johnny to work. And I want to put another Johnny to work. Oh, we are on the ground floor. I want to put another Johnny to work in here. So this portal is going to have to move over to the other side. And I'm probably going to have to move the way down to the slime farm. Although I've got a plan for that. I think I might be building a secret elevator. I've got an elevator design, a flying machine elevator design on my test world. I've got 3 or 4 actually. There's a basic bog standard one that just goes from point A to point B, and then there are several in between, leading up to ones where they've got, you know, you can call the floor. You can press a button and it calls your elevator to the floor. It's quite complicated, but they are big, and I don't think they'll fit in with the mansion. But the point-to-point one will. I could probably put that somewhere and have just a, you know, down to a secret sub-basement. Anyway, we'll worry about that later. But the plan is to cover the floor here with hoppers, like I did with the gold farm. Put a Johnny in here and have a dark room right at the top. Now, I've played with the idea for quite a while on my test world. I'm literally weeks, and I still am not happy about the amount of damage Johnny takes when there are mobs with Thorn's armor or witches, because witches need a massive drop for them to die, and also they heal themselves quite quickly. So I've not been able to get past that. So I think instead of having a normal darkroom mob grinder here, I'm just going to turn it into a gunpowder factory, where I'll have a darkroom above, and then I'll have trapdoors on the darkroom, and I'll flood the floors with water. And that way, because creepers aren't spawned with armor, which is a shame, that'd be pretty cool, but because they're not spawned with armor, then I don't have to worry about thorns, and therefore all Johnny has to do is whack the little green things to his heart's content. So that's the plan. I'll get rid of the nether portal. I'll cover the floor with hoppers. Yeah, hoppers. I can never hoppers and droppers. I'm terrible with them. Cover the floor with hoppers and a bit of carpet. And then we'll have the chests over here somewhere. Don't know where yet. Maybe I'll make the room a little bit wider. Anyway, less talking, more working. Okay, so I've dug out the floor. I've taken out all of the birch that was on the floor, and I've put in a couple of chests just there. Let's get rid of those as well while we're at it. While we're at it, even. Make the window quite big, actually. If I make the window quite big, then you'll be able to see the creepers falling down. That's okay. Yeah, that fits in. I've borrowed a little bit of room from this room. Don't know what I'm going to put in here yet. But remember, we can't do anything with those blocks because we've got redstone on that for the potion room above it. That's where the new portal is going to be temporarily. And this is now the way down to the slime farm. So I borrowed a little bit of room off the corner, and these hoppers are going to feed the chest, but they're going to be fed up by the hoppers that are going to be on the floor here, and they're going to run into a couple of droppers. So if we have the droppers like that, like that. And then we'll have the basic, my go-to design for a item elevator. So if we have the, never see them, plain as day, comparator, repeater, redstone clock, and then have the observers. One observer there, firing that one. Bit of dust. Observer there. Firing this one. Anything now that goes into the bottom dropper, as you know, is going to get fired up to the top. There it is. Perfect. So I'll just fill the bottom in now with hoppers. Put a bit of carpet on, then we'll have a look at it. Okay, so we've covered the floor with hoppers, but I've also dug down a level a little bit further down, and I've covered the floor with torches, because hoppers aren't classed as solid blocks. Light comes through the bottom of them, so light comes through them. So hopefully that should make this room quite light without having torches all over the place. Hopefully, otherwise you'd stand here, you wouldn't be able to see anything because it would be all dark in there. I'm hoping that works. That works, doesn't it? Yeah, no, that works great. So now I need to go and grab myself a bit of carpet, cover it with some red carpet, and then I think the downstairs is done and ready for Johnny. I might have to move you eventually. Yeah, you. Oh man, I can't wait to start using you. This is going to be the start of the dark room. So if we find the dead centre, which is there, this is going to be the hole that the creepers fall through. Now, a 10 block drop will give a creeper sufficient damage to be a one-hit kill by Mad Johnny. So all of this and all of the room above it we can designate as being a dark room spawner, which is loads of spawning space. It only needs 2 high as well, so we're going to have loads of floors. We've got we can't put it on this floor because I need to mess about getting a trough here for some water to push the creepers to the middle. I'm probably going to have them flowing down the long axis as well, not that one. Yeah, we'll get more spawning spaces if we have the water flowing from the outside, from that wall into the middle, rather than flowing from that wall into the middle. So if we put down a floor, I don't know how many of these blocks I've got, so I don't know how much of this I'm going to get done. Might have to run off and get some more birch. If we have it too deep as well, then they're not likely to, well, they won't be able to jump out. So if we then put a fence, have we got a fence? We put a fence there. That way now when we put a bit of water there, it's going to flow to the middle and stop and not fall through. Even in 1.13, flowing water won't flow through a fence gate or a pane or a slab or anything like that. It won't flow through them, but it will allow you to put a source block on top of it. On top of panes or slabs, which is where some of the confusion, I think, in water mechanics started from. And in fairness, it took me a while to get my head around it, but this will still work in 1.13 because a fence gate and a fence post and a pane and a slab and everything else will still stop water unless you put a source block directly on top of it. So that's that. Then this is going to be the floor. I am clearly going to run out of blocks, but I'll go and get some more. But if we can just do a couple to start with. Yeah, I've run out. So this is going to be the first spawning floor. So we're going to need we have a dispenser there and a dispenser there. That way, when they dispense water, if I had one there and there, when they dispensed water, they'd make the middle block a source block. So when they sucked water back in again, there would still be water there because of the source block that had been created. So we have to have them a little bit further apart. So I couldn't have one there and there, which is why I need a little bit of space. But if I have a dispenser there and there and have some blocks above it, again, we've ruined a perfectly good view. And then I have a bit of redstone dust on top of this. One there and one there. Fill the rest in with solid blocks. What I don't want is I don't want spiders to be able to climb on top of there. Normally I'd have just put a line of redstone dust straight across here and an observer above it. But I can't do that because spiders would climb into that gap and then sit there forever. At least because obviously they'll climb up the block anyway and they'll be above the water. But because they can't climb onto a solid block, then there could be a chance that they'll knock each other into the water and flow them to the end. So hopefully by blocking that off, we won't have a problem. And I say hopefully, I don't know yet. Now we need observers. If we have a observer block there pointing, observer there pointing down, and then have a bit of dust on top of there. This dust is going to be hidden between the floors. The next floor is going to go there. It's going to be made out of birch, but it's, well, actually it doesn't have to be, does it? You're not going to be able to see it. But it's going to go there, so you're not going to be able to see that dust. I'm going to have to block off that window so there's no light getting in. And then put trapdoors above it. And that way the only things that can spawn on this level are going to be creepers and spiders. And as I say, spiders are going to cause me a problem. I'm going to replace these blocks with magma blocks. And then hopefully any spiders that get pushed to the edge are going to be killed by the magma. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. So what I'll do is I'll finish off doing the first level, and then we'll have a look at it working. Okay, so I've got a bit of the floor in. I've got the first floor. I've got the chute where obviously the creepers fall down, and I've got the first floor in. I still need to put trapdoors underneath, but you can get the gist of it. It just makes it easier for me to jump in and out without the trapdoors there. Put trapdoors in, it makes it almost impossible. Can't put anything above there because that's going to cut off the redstone signal. But now if we get up onto the next floor, we're going to have a hopper clock on the roof, probably the silent one. Not on the roof, just under the roof. And it's going to tick, I don't know, it's going to generate a pulse every 30 seconds or so. And it's going to do one side and then it's going to do the other side. So half of the floor will be flooded and half of the floor will be spawnable. And that way we'll always have a spawnable space for the creepers to spawn onto. But I'm going to use observers coming all the way down. So if I put an observer there now, both of the what are they called, dispensers, fire the water out, and anything that's on that level is going to be pushed to the middle. And that's going to happen on all, how many floors am I going to get? 1, 2, 3, 6 floors, maybe 7. Might get 7 floors out of it. But that should be more than enough. Another one of those there, and that will turn it off with a bit of luck. Great stuff. So I'll stick in the rest of these floors because I'm conscious that I want to get this done before we actually call it a day for today. It'd be nice getting it up and running by the end of the episode. So let me do all of this, and I'll see you back here in a minute. Okay, so we've got one side of it done, and I've put the floors in, I've put the trapdoors in, I've put the water in the dispensers at the back, the magma cubes on the magma blocks on the front to hopefully kill spiders, and it goes all the way up to the top. So how many floors have we got? We've got the bottom one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 spawning floors, which is okay, which will do. Now you might notice that I've used the top floor, I've used slabs there, and I'll explain why when I get up there. I have to go on the roof because there's no room at the top, no room at the inn. I'm going to be putting the timer up here, and there's no room, so I've had to go through the roof. But the point being with the slabs is that if I didn't use slabs here, if I used a solid block, let me get a button. If I used a solid block instead of a slab, that would cause the trapdoor to open underneath. And because there's going to be a continual circuit of power going from the timer, the redstone will always be lit, or it'll be lit 50% of the time. It would mean that the trapdoors underneath would be open, which would allow skeletons and zombies and witches to spawn inside the farm. So by using slabs here and not solid blocks, the redstone doesn't affect the trapdoors underneath, so they'll never open. So there's something less I've got to worry about. So if we can do this before it gets dark. I was going to try and do the silent one, but that's a little bit bigger than 1 high. I need a hopper timer that's 1 high, so I'm going to have to use the bog standard classic etho hopper clock, which everybody uses these days. It's just a classic, which is why it's called a classic etho hopper clock. That like that and that. Then you want a couple of comparators coming off the side of it. Pull a signal. Going into a block like that. Bit of redstone dust. This is a dust that would have powered the trapdoors underneath as well. So, and again, that's another reason, or that is the reason. Couple of sticky pistons and a solid redstone block, and now we need to put, I don't know, how many items do you reckon in there? Let's just put all my stone in. I'll play with the timers just to make sure it's okay. So as soon as it comes back over this side, it will generate a signal, and that signal is going to run into that block there using a repeater, which will activate all of the redstone dust down the observers. Now I can't turn it on because I've got torches on. Because I've got torches on each one of those platforms. The minute I turn it on, I'm going to flood the platforms. It's going to get rid of the torches. So you'll just have to trust me that is now working. That is now a working mob farm. So I just need to mirror that side where I'm standing now, and then we'll fire it up. Or then we'll get Johnny in, then we'll fire it up. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, the farm's done. It's all complete. I don't know whether it's working yet because I haven't turned it on, because I don't want creepers falling down to the bottom before we've got Johnny in there to sort them out. So I'm over back at the nether to get Johnny. Hopefully these pigs and everybody will keep out of the way. Come on, get in the corner. One of you get in the corner. Come on. Push him in the corner. That's it. Well done. Well done, mate. Well done. Yeah, up there. Sorry. Right, so hopefully I can get him out of that room and into his room without him killing me. Like a charm. Like a charm, Johnny boy. Right, I'm going to go and grab a name tag. I'll be back here in a second. Right, it looks like we might have a couple on the map. So let's see what happens. This could all end in tears. Oh, yeah. No. No. Oh, God, no. No. Oh, no. Oh, no. Damn. Damn, they don't die straight away. Okay. That could cause me a problem. But we haven't got enough time to sort it out in this episode. So sorry to leave it on a knife edge, everybody, but we've run out of time for today. So I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you have, please don't forget to leave it a like. And if you've really loved it, don't forget to subscribe for future videos. This is Frilly off, sitting on a potential time bomb. And I'm out of here.